Greetings and welcome to the Jacksonville Buzz. I'm Adrienne Houghton. And have you ever thought about pre-planning your funeral? Well, joining me in the studio today is Jessica Heitman, and she is from Hardage Giddens, a dignity memorial company. Also joining us is our trusted Buzz contributor, Mr. Stephen Strum. And hopefully we'll be able to answer some of those questions that you're all concerned about. But Jessica has a very interesting story. Welcome, Jessica. Welcome, Steve.
Well, hello. So,
guys,
when we were talking about your story on how you got in this business, everybody has a story on how they get to where they're at. Yours is uniquely personal, and you're willing to share that with us.
I am.
Tell us a little bit about your personal story on how this has been such an important cause for you.
Well, I was staying home after I had my second child in between jobs. I've been a hairstylist my whole life, so funeral planner was never on the list of things I thought I would do. But I had a series of personal losses with 3 family members in as many months. And I got to see firsthand how it was to plan a funeral, the decisions that had to be made, and just how difficult it was to focus on what you're going to have for breakfast, let alone where you're going to bury your mom. So.
We had that conversation, and knowing that I had gone through that myself, you had a couple that were normal-ish, and then you had some that were out of line. And so people expect that your family members, as they age, they pass away, but you also had some folks that had passed away earlier than expected, which is actually 2 different sets of events when you go through it mentally. And now you're here helping other people craft that pathway. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
I meet with families and help them pre-plan their funerals, hopefully before they're sick or before it's a time of desperate need, so that they can make decisions with a clear head and work it out financially so that it's not something that sets their family back.
Now, I know there's a lot of people that think that if they have life insurance that they really don't need to plan because the life insurance take care of it. But it's not just about paying for it, is it?
It's not. Life insurance is very important, and we encourage people to have that. But we know that life insurance doesn't always pay out. And when you pre-plan, you can lock in the price and hedge against inflation, which life insurance can't do. So it also doesn't make decisions for you.
No, that's for sure. And I suppose when push comes to shove and something happens that is unexpected, everyone's in a strange frame of mind, and it's very difficult for somebody to take charge and make decisions. So if you've already made the decisions for them, you just follow their requests. Is that correct?
Absolutely. You would be surprised how many adult children act like kids when they're in there fighting, screaming at each other.
I'm sure.
The oldest will take charge, but the youngest wants to come in and give their opinion, doesn't want to pay for it. It's very ugly. And when you see it, when I see it firsthand, it makes me reaffirm why I do what I do.
Of course. Now, it's not a case of you can pay up front and one lump sum and that's it. You can pay in installments, correct?
Absolutely. And when you wait for the time of need, you can't pay in installments. Everything has to be paid in full.
Right.
When you pre-plan, you have that option to put it in 3 years, 5 years, some exceptions longer than that.
Interesting. So what if somebody decides, oh, well, actually, I'd like a plan, but 2 years into the planning stage, they move. And they're no longer going to be within that same area. Can you transfer the plan to another place?
You can, and that's a great question. Dignity Memorial owns over 2,000 funeral homes and cemeteries in the U.S.
Wow.
So while here in Jacksonville we are Hardage Giddens, they have locally owned funeral homes all over that you can transfer your plans to.
Well, that's wonderful.
It is.
I mean, yeah, it makes a huge difference, really. And the other thing what happens if you're absolutely planning, everything's going according to plan, as it were, but then all of a sudden you haven't finished paying for it, but you pass away? What happens then?
Actually, it is funded through life insurance, and in most cases it will pay out and cover the balance for your family.
Oh,
interesting.
That is interesting.
Most of the time, life insurance pays when you die. So you're saying that an assignment of XYZ dollars is, so I have it for all of my planning, it's going to cost me $1. So what you're saying is that somebody in their estate plan says, okay, well, part of my proceeds of the insurance policy, pay off of that, and then they don't have to worry about the financial side while they're going through the emotional burden.
It's something similar to that. It's not in their typical life insurance. It's guaranteed insurance funded funeral goods and services. So they plan what they want. And if they're in good health, they can pass away, hopefully not after just one payment, and the rest will be covered.
Got it.
If they're in poor health, then there may be 2-year contestability, just like normal life insurance.
It's its own standalone.
It is.
So actually it's a safe fund.
Yeah.
Yes,
Really?
basically.
Well, if people want to know more information, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of them who do. How do they get in contact with you?
You can call me at 904-838-6358. I'm the assistant manager of the pre-planning advisor team for Hardage Giddens here in Jacksonville. So we'll go to your home, or we will speak for your group and give information and help you plan if you're ready.
Well, thank you for coming in and helping to put a little bit of a light on the subject, because I know it's not easy to talk about. Nobody wants to talk about it with their children, and it's a very necessary subject, I believe.
It is. Thank you so very much for having me.
Going through this a couple times myself, I will offer to you, it's not the time you want to make those decisions.
No.
When you're already dealing with the emotional burden, the fact that you have a pathway for people, for somebody who's been through that, I do appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Steve,
Absolutely.
and I'm very sorry that you've had to go through that.
It's unfortunate.
Thank you, Jessica.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And we'll be right back after these messages.